Well, BC's Auditor General has had enough and he's getting ready to leave our province. John Doyle says he made his decision to take on a similar post in Australia when a BC Liberal-dominated committee could not agree to reappoint him for another 6-year term. The Premier, as you'll recall, then stepped in, suggesting that Doyle be offered a 2-year extension, but by then the damage was done. CTV's legislature reporter Stephen Andrew has more on Doyle's departure.
If BC's Auditor General had his way, his watchful eye would oversee the province's books for another 6 years. But the Liberals aren't willing to give him a long-term commitment.
I discussed it with my family and they agreed that a return to Australia would be better.
Doyle has been a thorn in the side of government since he was appointed as Auditor General in 2008, criticising the province on how it spends taxpayers' money, even criticising the legislature on shoddy bookkeeping. In recent weeks, a Liberal-dominated committee voted not to appoint Doyle to another 6-year term.
What happened subsequent to that seems to me to be highly strange and unusual. I'm beginning to hear from different places that sounds like business as usual in BC.
The Premier suggested Doyle be offered a 2-year extension, but it appears the Australian offer was more attractive. The NDP believes Doyle's departure is a loss for people who want open transparency in government.
We've seen across Canada examples of people like John taking governments on, and now we've lost a good, solid auditor because of Liberal interference.
He's a legislative officer. He can seek out his career wherever he wants.
The NDP believes the process of appointing a new Auditor General should wait until after May's election. And that's fine with the current job holder because he says he has a lot of work still to be done.
I've got a number of reports that I've got up on my website which we're actively working on, and we hope to publish as many of them as possible.
One of those reports, why the government paid legal fees in the trial of 2 former Liberal ministerial aides. Dave Bassey and Bobby Verk pled guilty to breach of trust in the BC Rail scandal. But the government still paid their $6 million legal bill. Those findings have to be published by the end of March because Doyle has a self-imposed moratorium on issuing reports after that date to avoid a perception of influencing the election. Doyle hopes he will still be around when the new Auditor General is appointed.
I'll take them into a quiet room and have a quiet chat, but it would be a quiet chat between the two of us to give him or her some information about what it's like to be an Auditor General here.
And perhaps a conversation on the next place to look at in the province's books. Stephen Andrew, CTV News, Victoria.